o'clock and we have a quorum. So we could start with the minutes of the previous meeting. Did anyone have comments or corrections?
I added a correction to it, or I just added that it was for 169 South Street. You closed the public hearing, but I also added that it was continued to this date.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, and I was not at that last meeting.
And for clarity, because we're on the topic, I did get a confirmation of request from that applicant to also grant us an extension to December 10th.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, our clerk wasn't here to take the minutes.
My first meeting I missed.
All right, let's see, so hearing no comments or concerns on the meeting other than those changes, do I hear a motion to accept the minutes
I would
as amended?
we accept the minutes as amended.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second, and Phil is online, so this must be roll call.
You people online.
Yeah,
That's Bill.
so all in favor of accepting the minutes, Bill,
Aye.
Tom, Ken.
Aye.
Margaret, aye. Okay, treasurer review. Bill, your turn.
Yes, we have one payment to Stantec for work done on the Dean Pond development coming out of the escrow account.
Okay,
I don't think I have that.
You don't have it?
That's my,
I was gonna say, is that something I need to sign tonight?
yeah, I'll go grab it.
Okay,
But I did forward that to Bill ahead of the
Yep.
meeting. Bill, do you have the amount in front of you?
No, I don't, I'm sorry.
well, all right, so thank you for that, Bill. I will sign I'll sign the document when it's available. We received the planner's report by email yesterday, and it looks like it was good. Does anyone have comments or questions on the planner's report? All right, moving on to the agenda items. Approval not required plans. Do we have any A&R plans here tonight?
There.
There are none. Okay. Public hearing 0 Milford Street. Do we have the advertisement? Do you have to read the advertisement?
Oh, this board hasn't been doing that.
Okay.
Wait.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just want to read
Okay.
this. Yes.
So we're going to suspend our current meeting and open a public hearing for the definitive subdivision from the Ashland Chestnut Realty Trust, proposing a subdivision to consist of a new cul-de-sac serving 3 lots off of Milford Street. And we will be reviewing the subdivision rule under the subdivision rules and regulations.
I think Sean's on.
I
am. Good evening, everyone. And if you would like, I will just proceed with briefly presenting the project and kind of turn it back over to you. I know we did get peer review comments last week, so we haven't had a chance to fully go through that and revise any plans. So I suspect we'll be continuing beyond this. But if I can share my screen, I'll kind of get right to it.
And we do.
So we're currently hearing from Sean Malone. He is the engineer on the project. The way these things usually work is we get a presentation from the engineer. After the presentation from the engineer, the members of the board are invited to ask questions or make comments. And after a discussion with the engineer, from the comments and questions from the members of the board, the members of the general public, they can ask questions.
And Madam Chair, Mike Antonellis, town planner, we do have Stantec present to
Okay,
discuss findings on the review.
great. Thank you. Okay, Sean, all you.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, my name is Sean Malone. I'm a professional civil engineer with Oak Consulting Group representing the applicant. And what we're here tonight is to discuss the 3-lot definitive subdivision at the Governor's Landing property on Milford Street. I have the existing conditions up in front of you. I think most of you are aware of this property. It's a 83-acre parcel located on Milford Street, kind of at the high point. We had or currently have an order of conditions and a planning board approval for a senior development and townhouse project. And I want to be very clear about this. We are moving forward with that. That is the intent. What this proposal before you is to create a definitive subdivision plan in order to freeze the zoning as it was back in, was it March or May when we filed the preliminary plan. And this is the mechanism that the state of Massachusetts has in place for an applicant to do so, to protect their rights under a current zoning. So what we are proposing with this definitive plan is, there we go, is a 3-lot subdivision, cul-de-sac through the center of the property here. It's a 460-foot long cul-de-sac road. We have this located kind of at the high point of Milford Street. This is the same access point that we had in the, or have in the Governor's Landing project. This has been reviewed by MEPA. I don't know if the board has seen, we did receive our MEPA certificate for this site for the Governor's Landing project. So all that is good. We are proposing a stormwater basin in the northern portion of the site. Again, this is an area where the other project had a basin. We have sidewalks on both sides of the street trees at 75 feet. We're proposing to tie into the future water and sewer project that's currently in design, and as I understand it, getting ready to go out to bid for the town sewer and water in Milford Street. And beyond that, we are not in any wetlands buffer zones, so we don't have any conservation commission permitting required with this. And we do understand, even though, as I've said, this is not intended to ever be built, we do understand that this has to meet all of the town's rules and regs, and that is fully our intent. So with that, I'll turn it back over to the board for any questions or how the board wishes to proceed.
Okay, before we proceed, just to make it clear to everyone in the room what Mr. Malone just said, they have on this site an approved much larger subdivision, which they intend to go forward with. However, they submitted this, but that is a special permit project. So it's under one set of legal regulations in the state. They submitted this project as a subdivision under a different set of legal regulations. It's a very small subdivision, which you've heard him say they do not intend to build. But they submitted it under the subdivision rules and regulations because that allows them to freeze the zoning on the site so that the town can't change the zoning. That would prevent them from going in any way that would prevent them from going forward with their already approved plan in the future. Because the special permit process that they used before does not freeze the zoning, but the subdivision process does freeze the zoning. Is that kind of clear to everyone? No. Okay. So there are multiple different ways that projects come to the planning board. We have this was a special permit, right? When we
the already approved development.
So the original project that came in that you've probably all seen before, the large subdivision on this site, that got approved under our town subdivision bylaws. It's approved. Tom is really enjoying watching me try to explain this. It's approved under our town subdivision bylaws. It's approved through a different process. So there are multiple different processes available to us through the state. And that was approved through the special permit process. Now, the problem from the applicant's standpoint is that the special permit process does not freeze the zoning that's already in place on the site. So the town could turn around and change the zoning. However, if they have an approved subdivision, and if I mess this up, I'm sure Mike is going to correct me. If they have a subdivision on the site, the town cannot change the zoning under the site. And it's not just that it has to be approved, it has to just have been submitted to the board. And this subdivision was submitted initially to the board some time ago, they announced their intention to build this, to submit this subdivision of 3 houses. This plan that we're looking at is not what they intend to build. They intend to build the one that's already been approved that has,
But if I may, but the reason is that subdivision control is the main reason planning boards were established in
In
the
the first
first
place.
place. That's more or less the grandfather law that overrides planning boards' decisions. The special permits and site plans and things are underneath that, but the law is 81 section
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
planning boards, it's subdivision.
yeah. So they're just making sure that they have legal protection for the zoning that is currently applied on that site.
And how many units was the last final number?
The final number in the
On,
project,
on the project, that is not what is before you tonight.
right, was
That's 127
hundred and
units.
twenty-seven.
Is what's actually being done.
That's, yes, that's what was approved. That was approved through the special permit process. There we had a very long review process. We had multiple rounds of very long review processes. If you're in a butter, you would have been notified on those. The Conservation Commission had a very long review process. They also had multiple rounds of a long review process. I can tell you that this site has been before boards in this town since the early 2000s, because I've been watching this site since the early 2000s. So, but tonight's review is of this paper subdivision. So it's a 3-lot subdivision that will be built. Okay, I hope that sort of clarifies. Pardon me?
Oh, I just, hopefully.
Yeah,
In the history, it started out with
yes.
60 single-family houses.
Yep.
And then it went to 120
Um,
senior,
Yep.
and then it went to 100 senior because 120 triggered an affordable housing component.
And we have, as Tom said, either this board or Concom has been dealing with this site since, I want to say 2002, 2003. So,
Is it over 55?
the new, part of the new subdivision, yes, is over, the new proposal is over 55.
But not all of it.
Not all of it, yeah.
All but 27 units.
All but 27 units are over 55. So there'll be the proposal, and we're gonna have to go back to the actual plan before us right now, but the proposal has a lot of units in the front. Those are over 55. And then there's 27 up on the hill, 27 large single family homes.
Oh, Switch it.
What hill?
Oh, switch it. I'm sorry. There's 20, there's 27 in the front, senior, and then large single family homes up the back. Yeah, and the hill is just, if you're on 140, it's the hill that's up above you. Whereas it's,
So the applicant has had to go through the planning board for
And
the senior housing. and the
ZBA.
zoning board for the ones on the front, so there's been
Right.
public hearings for both sides.
yeah, and then there's been conservation. So we have had a lot of review of this site already. This is a 3-unit proposed subdivision.
3-lot.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
3-lot proposed subdivision.
Through the chair, the applicant isn't showing any use
No.
on these lots, they're not showing any units of any kind.
That's right.
It's just the division.
Right
of
now,
the
it's the division of the lands.
And the establishment of the cul-de-sac.
So there'll be 3 lots on this road, if this was how they just, so. Okay, does anyone on the board have questions or about the subdivision, or do we want to go through the Stantec review?
Dave, go ahead here. Stand a second.
We have, if. Dave's also seen this for 21 years.
Yes.
That's very cool. Any questions, concerns from the board? Dave, do you want to give us sort of an overview of since you're here,
Sure.
of your review?
Just in case nobody knows, from Stantec, Dave Glenn, consultant with the planning board for a number of years. We did write a letter to the board, reviewed the plan as per the subdivision moving regulations. We had a number of comments, go through them briefly, and then if there's more questions, I won't go page by page. Some people may get bored, but I'll let some of the highlights, and then I'll take this further questions for the discussion. In this CNR report, we looked at the definitive plan itself. We were looking for some more additional information on the plan. There's a drainage easement on the plan. It's not fully defined on the plan, so we're requesting more additional information on that, what boundary fill that drainage easement on the plan. We had another comment on the buildable area for the lots themselves. Normally in the past, if the slopes are exceeding 20% on the lot, that should not be considered part of the buildable area. The table they provided did not show that the area for the lot, so we recommend that area be included in the table and adjusted accordingly. To confirm they have 50% buildable area for the lots. Regarding the offsite utilities, we have a general comment that proposed public water, public sewer. General comment was, again, have they have to provide documentation, the status of those extensions, within Route 140, where they stand at the moment with the town, with the city or state. We have some questions on the actual roadway design itself. Again, it's a dead end street with a cul-de-sac. We're looking for some more information on the actual dead end itself, the cul-de-sac, basically the outside diameter of the cul-de-sac. They are calling for a landscape island within the cul-de-sac, looking for some more information on the actual landscaping within the island, so surface treatment within the island. We also were recommending a cross-section of the cul-de-sac be provided on the plan. They show a cross-section, but it's just a main road, cul-de-sac itself. We did note the side slopes are shown as 3-to-1, board design standards are 4-to-1. We did comment on the actual roadway alignment itself. There's approximately about a 25-foot cut where the roadway is going through the existing topography. Obviously, there's ledge. You go out there, there's ledge outcroppings throughout the site itself. So we just made note it's a 25-foot cut, and that we're assuming that there's going to be blasting. So we're looking for provisions. They should address how they're going to handle the blasting for the roadway construction. So get the proper permits from local officials, fire department for that. 140 is Mass Highway roadway. They're not the coordinated Mass Highway on the access permit. And then do the blasting, they'll have to get coordination. So again, we recommend on the roadway, 100-foot cross section be done with a cut of greater than 5 feet, which they do have in this case, so we have for additional cross section. And then last one on the roadway was proposed lighting. There's no lighting shown. Then we talked a little bit about the water supply. Again, asking for documentation on where the extension of the water line stands with the town and state officials. Just a main note that they need to maintain 10-foot horizontal, 18-inch vertical separation between the water line and the sewer line. In the appear they had that on the profile that was provided. And again, to reference the sewer and the water actually have to comply with the DPW regulations. On the sewage, similar comments, just the status of the extension of the sewer, confirming the adequacy and acceptability of the outside sewer extension. We did notice that the cover was less than 7 feet at several locations, the board standard. Just that. We recommended impervious dams be provided on the sewer main just to control groundwater situation. And again, construction of the sewer has to be as per the standards. We did have a few comments on the actual content of the definitive plan. We requesting that additional some of the landscape features be shown 20% area of slope. We recommend that be shown on a specific plan so you can clearly see where the 20% slope is in reference to the layout of the actual road itself. It's shown on one plan, but it's not really shown on the layout. It shows the actual roadway alignment. Profile sheet itself that was submitted. You need to put 2 benchmarks on that profile sheet. design standards. Label the rim elevation, pipe slopes, inwards, and then confirm the vertical scale, the actual, is seen to be correct. Also provide the actual data for data too. Another comment was requesting an additional plan and profile. There's a drain line that goes from the cul-de-sac road down to the stormwater basin. It's probably about 300 feet. We're recommending a profile be done of that easement, so we can confirm the grades of that easement, but that can be used for maintenance if possible. General comment, lot numbers with house numbers as we shown in the plans. Again, another general comment, each sheet should have a signature for the planning board members. And we're going to use open space. Either. And then we had a few comments on the actual stormwater management system. It's the Mass DEP stormwater standards. Standard number one, talked about erosion from the outfall itself. For calculations to show that there is no erosion from the outfall location, Stormwater basin. So that should be provided from that. He did note the basin itself will eventually discharge to private property. And because it's a direct discharge, we commented whether that would possibly require an easement from the abutting property. But right now, it's just sheet flow and everything. We had some general comments on the actual HydroCAD analysis, which is the drainage analysis itself. We had some comments on how that model was developed. One of the comments we had was when you do the analysis for the stormwater basin, normally you do the 2-year, 10-year, 100-year storm. The question we had was there was no calculation for the closed drainage system. So we're recommending calculations for the closed drainage system. And because the overall analysis shows a 100-year storm going for the basin, that they should provide additional documentation to say that that drainage area is indeed going to go essentially it's concentration based. Again, calculations for the closed drainage system, calculations for the actual catch basins themselves. Right now, they're only showing 2 catch basins on the whole roadway itself from the entrance capacity of catch basins. Comment on the actual infiltration basin. Standard 3 of the Mass DEP standard requires an infiltration that you have in the previous area. They use a soil infiltration rate in the analysis, which doesn't agree with the actual soil conditions, so we want to have number from that. Cross section of the infiltration basin, asking the information like the actual seasonal high groundwater, ledge elevation, and then again the 4-to-1 slope as opposed to a 3-to-1 slope. So, depth of cover over the pipe, drainage pipe, some cases it's less than 4 feet, and it's a standard. They are proposing HDPE pipe as opposed to concrete. Sure if that's a waiver request or whether that's acceptable to the DPW. Both system. Standard 10 of the Mass DEP standards requires an illicit discharge statement to be submitted. There was no statement provided. And general comment on maintenance. Whether enhance their maintenance program so they understand who is going to maintain this, the closed drainage system and the infiltration basin, whether it's going to be the homeowner, how that would all work out. And general comment on erosion control, because they are disturbing more than an acre, just a note that they have to get a NIPD's general permit, stormwater pollution protection plan. We just recommended that be submitted to the board. Prior to construction. That's pretty much the whole bit, I mean, I'll be answering each of those questions.
Okay. Does anyone on the board have specific questions about this? Very, thank you, Dave, for running through this with us. Sean, do you have any questions or comments about the review you just heard?
No, and I've gone through it briefly before. So we'll make the necessary plan changes and get the additional information that Dave's requiring or requesting rather, and resubmit.
Do you intend to do any of this through waivers, waiver requests, or are you gonna just make the changes?
No, we'll just make the changes.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyone on the board have questions at this time? This is a pretty big list of changes that have to be made before we can possibly move forward with this, so. Questions, concerns? No.
One of the things we've always, any vote would be subject to town board approvals, answer to the engineering questions. And for any lots would be released, so no matter what we did, there's still a lot release process that
Yes.
is the issue.
So at this point, basically the applicant is going to take this report that you've just heard presented and make the adjustments in the plan and come back in a couple of weeks. I don't know if it'll be our next meeting when we.
December 10th is the next meeting. I don't know if they'll be ready then. If not, the deadline on this application is the 16th. So Sean, if you're not gonna have something by the 10th, we'll just need an extension to whatever date.
Yes. So my thought, given the season and the holidays coming up, I'm thinking that we'd come back to this board more mid-January, and we'll certainly provide any extension that the board needs for that.
Okay, if you could send in the request, then what we want to extend it, if you're gonna come back mid-January, try to have a decision at our second meeting in January.
Yeah, you got the 7th and the 21st in January. Let me make sure that any of those.
Is the shot clock for
holidays-
decision or is it for
Decision.
its decision? Yeah, so I can remember if it was closing.
So you want to do an extension to February 1st or something right now?
Sure, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
All right, so if you'll request that decision till the extension till February 1st.
Yeah, Sean, if you could have either Angela or Jeff shoot me a note requesting that, or if you just want to CC them on that, that'd be great.
Okay, yeah, I'll send it to you and CC both of them.
Those are the applicants' representatives.
Any questions from the public? Yes.
And so this is my lot here. I don't know if this is part of the. So this one for me. So I was just wondering why it's involved in that. It's like,
It is not involved in this. This is a different file.
okay,
Oh, that's from Mendon Road. We haven't got to
We
that.
haven't gotten to that one yet.
okay. Is there a planned start date or, where you?
For this project?
Yes.
Well,
this one is never.
it's probably never gonna, this project is never gonna start.
Governor's Landing.
Well, Governor, the original approved special permit will probably start, but the project that we're doing tonight will probably. I know it seems crazy, but that's.
But the condos are being built.
So
Yeah,
through the chair, and I know Sean's probably not gonna give me an answer on start date for shovel in the ground for Governor's Landing. And that the reason for that is because it's highly dependent on the town extending sewer and water. So I've been intimately involved with the team that Sean's been working for, his client. Because the town receives grant funds to extend sewer and water to this site. Not for this version of the development, but for the condos you were just referencing. So we hope to have shovel in the ground for sewer and water April of next year. And then once we have shovel in the ground for sewer and water, I'm sure that will give Sean's client a great deal of confidence to then go forward with the construct their project. And then, so I don't know, I would assume that they would start doing some earthwork at that point, but I can't confirm on their behalf, and I'm sure, like I just said, their answer is highly dependent on the town, so they can't answer that confidently right now.
So will the extension of that water and sewer impact the homeowners in that area? So I've been told that, well, I'm 86 Milford Street off of 140. I've been told that I'll have to switch from well water to town water.
No, there was the town voted a waiver of that requirement. One of the previous town meetings, not the most recent.
Almost had to.
Yeah,
Almost had to. All right, that's why I'm here, so. That's
yeah, the town waived that requirement for you, so don't
Okay,
worry about that.
great. And so I heard condos and Governor's Landing. What's the approximate site of both of those developments off of 140?
So the condos will be right in the front on that section of 140.
Okay.
Just towards the center from where the rug place, the rug.
Right across the street. from the
Yeah, you're in one of those houses. Yeah,
That's like that little commercial
right.
place that I think you were
Yeah.
talking.
This is the rug,
That's
this is the
that's
rug guy down here.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's kind of up on the hill a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the train tracks back here.
Mhm.
Yes.
It's not near the road.
No, the entrance is further up from there. It's not right.
Where is Brook Street in comparison to this? Back.
Sean, do you have a plan that shows Brook Street on there at all?
Further,
I don't.
I can bring it.
have-
It's on the other side of the railroad.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Will this be visible from Brook Street? I'm not very good like with this.
I don't
visual.
think so.
It's hard to say. I don't think so either, but I
But
can't.
I can't guarantee it, but I don't think so.
Jared, 250 feet maybe? The way you would be able to see through.
I don't have anything with Brook Street handy. I'd have to search for that.
John, can you just stop sharing or can I kick you off maybe?
Yeah.
Keep up here. Yeah, thank you. So this is the site I'm roughly outlining with my cursor here. That's the edge of their property. This is Brook Street up here, right?
Mhm.
I don't know where your property is.
Right at the very end.
Okay.
It's up to the end.
I mean, it'd be quite a distance.
Yeah, because there's
And I
a
don't know
stream
what-
in there.
I don't know how much woods are back there and or grade change. But if you're one of these last homes, I mean, to the property line is a little shy of 400 feet, right? To the actual where development is happening. Sean, I believe where my cursor is currently, that's sort of where a
This-
little cul-de-sac will be, right?
Yeah, the
We're talking about-
subdivision, the cul-de-sac here is probably coming in right about where the 140 label is.
Yeah. But we're kind of talking about two different things, which is hard to, this project, to the extent that it's a project, I would defer to Sean, but I would doubt very much you'd be able to see it. The Governor's Landing project, as it's been permitted, I don't.
And all that's 100 foot from the
Yeah.
edge of their property line.
Yeah.
And then
Just 100.
Yeah, and that project has a 75-foot wooded buffer around the whole perimeter as well.
Right, and how far are you from the stream, Sean? Can't remember in that project. In the back. Thought you were a couple of,
Probably two or 300 feet, I would say.
that's what I thought, so I think there's gonna be a lot of wooded area.
Is there a layout of the houses and?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you wanna come by town hall and see it, maybe.
Well,
It is-
it's on the website.
Yeah,
It's on the website,
All this
yeah.
stuff is on the website.
I'll show you real quick. Town of Upton. Government. Planning board, it's, there, planning board. On the left-hand side here, I probably skipped right by it. Ongoing projects, where is it? Yeah, okay. Ongoing development projects. Yeah. Governor's Landing, not subdivision, because that's what we're talking about now. Governor's Landing, senior housing and townhouse developments. And all of the documents are in here for that. It is, the site plan is this one right here, 3-8-23, because that's this plan that was approved. That's a full set of the plans. I'm not gonna bring it up tonight because that's not the discussion tonight, yeah.
Any other questions about the project that we're here to discuss?
I do have one more concern. Can you go back to, you've shown the carpet place?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is not on the 3 unit, this is on
This
the
is,
big,
yeah,
this is on the
right.
the Governor Landing condo project, not on the 3 unit
Right.
one we're talking about tonight.
Well, sewer is related to both, though,
Mhm.
if it's a sewer and water.
Oh, I'm just trying to be clear
Yeah.
which ones we're talking about, because you keep saying the
Okay,
project.
so what was your
Yeah,
question?
so I'm concerned about traffic flow, because again, that carpet place is kind of a blind curve.
Yeah.
Anybody's
So
down
if-
140.
If you look at the documents that Mike was just pointing you to, there was a traffic study done as part of this, as part of the review. There've been, I think, a couple of traffic studies out there as part of that review,
And sightlines for all.
and sightlines, yeah. Okay.
If I may, one of the
I'll look
problems
to make sure
with
it's
speed of the traffic.
Yes,
What planning boards do, if you want to check that speed and change it, because it's too fast,
right.
they set up a thing that measures the speed of people going down there,
Okay,
and we can lower it 10 miles an hour.
okay.
So the average
Below the
speed is about 60,
Yeah.
so we would lower it to 50.
The speed increases to 45 right at Kelly's Farm.
Yeah.
And I live on that blind curve. I
Yeah.
have a 2-year-old, anybody that's a parent, it's a living nightmare every time I leave my driveway. I'm
Mhm.
concerned about the extra traffic now flowing through there. So how do I initiate that to have the speed reduced? And even like a
Can,
blind curve sign, I'll pay for something.
Right, well, yeah, but the police have to go to the state,
Right, I know,
Yeah.
but because it is a state, it's not a town road, so.
and then they'd have to request and see what the speed limit of the people are going now.
Right.
And then analyze that. And then if it's more than,
But I think the question is, I think you start by going to the Upton Police and saying,
What's it up in
Yeah.
place?
because what they may tell you is that the first thing they'll do is put up the little thing that tells you how fast you're going, slow down.
Right.
And then they put a cruiser there. The next thing they'll do is put an actual cruiser there, and
Right.
they do it in steps.
But would I need a petition, or like, can I go myself and say, I need help?
I would follow up with me. I don't have my card on me, but my name's Mike Antonellis. I'm the Director of Land Use and Inspectional Services.
Can I get your cell phone number? Leave.
No.
Email address?
you call it.
But, you can get my, I'll go grab a card.
Okay, all right.
I'll give it to you, yeah.
Okay.
Is it too early to ask any other questions about like blasting and how many acres of woods are gonna cut down?
For the project that we're doing tonight is a state project. The other project, the blasting and the coupling, that's all. It's not that it's too early, it's almost that it's too late. I mean, we literally have already reviewed and approved that.
Okay, so let's say you live in the area, do we have any assurances like when they start blasting?
If they're gonna start blasting, they have to notify any.
Well, not notify, I'm like cracked out foundations and stuff.
Mhm.
They're gonna be.
They have to do a free
They have to
and
do-
vote. They
yes.
check, if you ask and request it, they have to.
So we have to ask, it's not assumed.
Yeah,
Well, we can tell them to make sure that they do everybody within a certain radius from where
but
the blast.
Tom, we've already issued
Um,
on our conditions on
Right,
this.
but when they start blasting, they should be pre-checking your basement and then folks.
It should be.
I'm not quite sure what the process is, but
Sean, are you,
it's,
can you speak
One
to
by
what the
the front.
process is?
Yeah, there's by law, if you're within a certain radius of the blasting, they're required to do a pre-blast survey. Some recent experiences believe that the applicant is gonna do a pre-blast survey regardless of the radius by law. So I would suspect that would probably look at anything within 500 to 1,000 feet to do a pre-blast survey, something like that. But it's not something that we would try to get out of by any stretch. It protects, the applicant as well. So I would suspect if you're within 1,000 feet of the blasting, they'll probably be contacting you when the time comes for a pre-blast survey.
Who contacts us? The town or a private company like yourself or the fire department?
It probably would be the private company. I mean, the blasting is permitted through the fire department, but I think it's on the blasting company or developer to make any notifications.
Any other questions? All right, hearing none, I would like to suspend this public hearing. We'll continue it to the date? We need a date and time for February 1st. That's the deadline.
Madam Chair, my suggestion was going to be January 22nd, again with the holidays. That might give us some time to get the plans in to Dave early and maybe get some secondary comments from him or verification that all his comments have been satisfied before the 22nd. If that makes sense to the board.
So we will continue this meeting, this public hearing to January 22nd at
21st.
21st, yes, sorry.
At 7:05.
Great.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to continue the public hearing to January 21st at 7:05. All in favor, Bill?
Aye.
Kathy? Aye. Tom? Ken?
Aye.
Margaret? Aye. Okay, thank
Great.
you all very much.
Thank you very much, and hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Do I have to? Did we ever post public hearing on South Street?
Yeah.
We posted it, so that means we have to.
No, you, for South Street, you closed it.
Oh, that's right, we closed it. Okay, that's right. Okay.
And if you want to, at the end, you have the authority to move that, actually vote on that. We supply everything you need. And.
You mean the South Street? Yeah,
Street.
yeah, we'll come back to that. So the next item that we have on our agenda is at zero Mendon Street, a large lot frontage reduction, applicant Sterling Valley LLC. And this is a two large lot frontage reduction lots at 0 Mendon Street. We have. And are you representing your?
I'm representing, so, yes.
Our applicant is here. Yep.
Here.
Jean Burnett is the applicant on this. This is not the public hearing, so this is just kind of a new schedule public hearing, so we're not gonna go into a lot of details.
Okay. So basically, we need to come to the meeting at the beginning of the summer to talk about this. The idea here is we're taking the 67-acre parcel that we purchased, approved for a prior subdivision of 22 lots, I believe, and we're reducing, requesting a large lot subdivision to create just 2 lots out of those 60 acres. Both of the parcels will be left in Chapter 61. This is consistent with the original plan and conservation easement we signed, and we created actually to allow building of 2 building zones, 1 2-acre parcel and 1 4-acre parcel. Roughly 4-acre parcel is roughly centered in the 64 acres. The 2-acre parcel is on the south side of pond that's depicted in some of the plans that were provided. The lot will be transferred to my son and daughter-in-law. We will retain ownership of the other.
Any questions right now? Because we have to set the public, this is not a public hearing, we have to set the public hearing.
I do have a question, Jean. So basically what you're looking at, you said the rest of it's gonna stay chapel land? You said,
That's not the right plan.
Oh,
I was gonna say.
I looked at it for a minute and I was like, wait a minute, no, that's not my thing. I don't think we have that plan.
Yeah, the plan is, was,
Yes, we do.
that is in your front, so wouldn't you put that in land?
Yeah, exactly. That was like, I looked at it too, I'm like, that's how they live.
I'm like, okay, maybe you did. Okay, so basically,
If you're here and I just didn't see it.
I mean, we'll talk about this public hearing, I guess, the usual. But this is right also, right next to your, right behind your house.
no, it's on, so, yeah,
Yeah,
it's on Chestnut Street.
Yeah.
It's behind
Yeah.
all of the houses
okay,
that are already, just so that all of the lots that are, have houses on them were part of the original subdivision.
okay,
They were created in 81,
okay,
you know, at the time by the developer. And then the developer went bankrupt.
okay.
We bought this something.
Okay.
You were here before, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's that, it's sort of the time, I remember that one.
yeah, it all started, it all wanted to take floors at the back of it. And nothing would change, basically nothing is changing with the uses of the property except for the, you know, the houses that, the two houses that would be created. And those, as I said, even when you look at the recorded deeds, those were called out of the recorded deeds as building zones.
I think I had sent this to Jean because it was a similar large lot frontage as like a reference and something. That's the right plan. And you, I think, actually, you had the right plan that was sent to you in your materials.
And the driveways to both of the lots are basically on the existing or the approved layout of they were in the subdivision. So all of the entrance and egress is at the same points of entrance and egress of the approved subdivision. As well as, you know, the actual roadway layout is on roughly on the roadway layouts that were.
A common driveway is a bit of a little bit more, you can have a common driveway, there's a little bit more than a construction, but this shows you.
Yeah, but we're not gonna use a common driveway, we'll use 200.
Yeah.
It's a little more expensive, yeah.
Over here.
It's not as wide, but it's the same sub depth and it's very expensive.
Yeah, we would just use, you know, gravel roadways, just on the existing, like I said, on the existing layout. Basically, the roads are already built. They exist.
Just setting the public hearing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the earliest public hearing,
One thing, if you're applying for two, it's separate filings. Each one, the planning board can only do one at a time. We can't, we'd have
One on each filing. no.
one on each filing. We'd have that the same night, but it's actually two different.
so yeah, it's 280 after the special permit is approved, right? Then there are two actions required for the.
I think the special permit is per lot. So you'd have to, it's all in the same thing, but it's, Mike, you're gonna help explain this, but I think it's two separate filings and back-to-back hearings.
Say that again, sorry.
Back-to-back hearings and separate filings for two reduced frontage lots, correct?
You want two
So what
separate.
we did
filings?
the last time.
Oh, okay.
Last time we did this, we held them on the same night, but because they're reduced frontage, it's one per file,
Okay. All right.
one for each.
If that's what the board would
Well,
have.
yeah, the whole idea was if you have the reduced frontage, the whole idea would think we have reduced frontage, you put a house on it, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
But it's all by itself. You can't take a look and do two, you can't put two on one lot, right? You're right, so it's actually two different.
So we just duplicate the,
Just do.
Yep.
The same night, back to back, close one hearing, open the next.
Can you do this, just one notification?
Yeah, and one notification that put the two hearings.
Yes.
so
Yeah.
would we do the 81P at the same night we do the, once the special permit is approved? Would we do the 81Ps at the same
It'd be
time?
two 81Ps, right?
Right,
And each one is separate.
yeah, but with that, I'm saying, would it be on the same night or would we do it two?
No, it's all, actually,
As fast as possible.
yeah, we'll do it all in one.
Okay,
This is the kind of thing that the bylaw was actually written for. In my, I mean, people have used it in ways that exactly what it was written for.
Well, I mean, this is, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It was an approved subdivision. We're
Yeah.
not doing any much work.
Yes. Okay, so do we have a time, do we have anything scheduled at our next meeting?
I can't get, an advertisement in for December 10th in
Okay.
time. So the next meeting would be,
Probably not gonna do it Christmas Eve, sorry.
Gina's, I already know.
I can do it Christmas. Happy to.
You won't get.
Santa's gonna be busy at your house on Christmas Eve, Gino.
So I think I already went through a proposed timeline, which,
January
so
4th.
January 7th is the next.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll set the public hearing for this to January 7th at 7:05.
Okay, and do we have to send out the notice to a butter?
Yeah, I'll get that out to you.
Okay.
Mhm.
Great. Okay,
All right,
thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too.
All
So
right.
just to be clear, that the approval of the special permit is by the board, correct?
Yes,
Is what?
by the board. Yeah, we're the approving authority for this.
Or, you need 4 votes. No, special permit, you only need 3. Oh, no, Mike, isn't it true? 4 is 4 for a special permit, 3 for a site plan.
Yeah,
Yes.
site plan is 3, but
Mhm.
special permit is 4.
Exactly.
All right, great. Well, I hope I have your support.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you
Is
later.
it even?
Okay, next we have 236 Milford Street, proposing to construct an additional 37 parking spaces, associated improvements. And we did have planned this, I believe, and this is also, we're just here to schedule a public hearing. We have John on here. Do you want to give us kind of an overview, John? But our plan tonight is really just to schedule the public hearings.
Sure, no, completely understandable. Just for the record, if you guys need it, John Federico with Guerrero and Helnon. I do have, if you would like me to screen share, I can pull up a couple of copies of the plan here.
Oh.
Mike just walked out of the room.
Yes, the
I think the old
person
person.
capable of screen sharing, of giving you screen sharing, right? Oh, wait a minute, let me see if I can do it.
Ooh.
Do we trust me? I'm gonna end the meeting accidentally. I can't even find it.
Yeah.
Cannot find the,
I think
SWAT
Mike
team
might
comes
be
in.
all.
here we go.
As long as the chair does, it's okay.
Share.
Yeah. It's.
No, that's not it. Sorry, man, I'm not sure which one of these it is to allow sharing, so I'm not gonna do
No,
it.
there's a little arrow.
Where?
See where it says leave, right next to leave? It says.
Well, I already clicked on that. You want me, and I didn't see, who I didn't see that I could let someone share here, so. Maybe it's, next to people. Let me see. Oh, Mike's is back. He's gonna rescue
Sorry.
you and share the screen.
Yeah.
Let you share screen.
Is my screen currently shared? Is that the problem?
No.
Or do I need to bring it up?
I think John doesn't have ability to share.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't sure if like I need any sort of approval or anything there. So I'm more than happy to try to accommodate it.
But you can just try and share.
Oh, okay. Let me see here.
Sean didn't have any trouble. I don't need to set any
There it is.
permission
Perfect.
thing.
Okay, awesome. All right, sorry about that, guys. Okay, are you able to, just because I don't see my teams right now, or is everybody able to see the screen here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So what we have on the site here is the existing Hope Deal Cardiology at 236 Milford Street. We have existing parking area here on the eastern side that's servicing the employee parking. And then on the western side here, we have our patient parking. The client is looking to remove several spaces in this area, and we're going to be connecting the 2 parking lots with a larger parking area. And that will be shown here. And essentially what we are proposing here is 84 and we're doing a net increase of 31 spaces after we have to do a little bit of reconfiguration on the employee side. To handle anything new for the pavement area, which is approximately 10,000 or so square feet, we are going to be proposing underground infiltration, and water will be reaching this structure through a catch basin on the north side as well as the south side here. We are going to be losing a couple of trees throughout this area. However, the existing stone wall that we have along the right-of-way line and any of the existing trees just behind that stone wall and even, several feet past that, we are intending to have saved. And then if we can do any, minor tweaks of the grading right along this edge here, during field work, we'll obviously make sure that we can try to salvage and save any other trees that might possibly be in that area. But at least just based on how our grading looks here, it does tie in relatively nicely with the existing site. It's not going to be, a giant mound or anything like that. To help offset some of the pavement that's located where my cursor currently is, it's about 1,500 square feet or so. We are proposing to remove about 1,800 square feet of existing pavement that's abutting one of the settling basins. That area is going to be returned to grass. And essentially this whole parking lot area here for the employees is going to be restriped. So as of right now, that's kind of the extent of what the project's going to be. And then anything that we have for the drainage tie-in, it's going to be tied into the existing drainage manhole that's here, utilizing existing drainage pipes and such. So I do know that we are going to be going in front of conservation. That notice of intent has been filed from my understanding, or it will be filed very shortly if it hasn't been done so. And I'm not sure if you guys would be conducting stormwater review or if it would be with conservation. But we did provide stormwater calcs to show that the existing basins, the proposed underground infiltration and everything will be meeting Mass DEP standards.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have questions?
I have a couple questions.
Mhm.
So you're planning, you're here because you're adding more than 10 parking spaces? Is that
That
pretty
is
much why
correct.
site plan?
It's going to be 37 new spaces within the parking area, but because of a couple removed parking spaces, we're netting a total of 31 new spaces.
All right, well, that definitely triggers the site plan. So from my perspective, the planning board would be looking at disturbance, of course, not just for conservation, but for planning board reasons, basements, driveways, whatever. So about disturbance of anything else? Is there any other areas that you're gonna hit? Is there any problem?
As far as anything goes, it's essentially just going to be that grassed area right in front of the existing building. The existing parking lot for the patients is not planning to be touched at all. And then, as I mentioned, that area that did have patching there for the removed 1,800 square feet, that's really the only thing that's going to be occurring there. That would be going pavement back to grass. So essentially, we're kind of restoring that area. But no changes really to the existing drainage infrastructure there. Our design has, worked from an infiltration standpoint, and then anything that can't get infiltrated is just going to overflow into the existing system. So no impacts or anything there, no modifications to the building or anything.
So, and the size of the spaces will be
They will be
Sorry.
18 feet long by 9 feet wide. If you would like me just to zoom in here.
All right, now, what about, what are you triggering for handicap spaces? I believe that if you have to add a one up until 25, you have to add a bus, right? A bus.
I will double check and confirm that for you folks. I don't know the exact number offhand. I don't believe we have any handicap parking spaces proposed in the new area here. But there are existing 4 spaces that are on the patient side here. We're not planning to change those.
But yeah, but I'd just like to know what the requirements are. There's a formula for us that when you add X number of spaces, you require X number of sizes for handicap.
It starts at 15 spaces. You gotta start accommodating for accessible.
And then at 25, I believe it's 2 and, right, at 25.
I think you're right.
Yep, they're going to be adding 30, so.
So I don't know what the answer is. You'll have to.
Yeah.
We'll have to get the answer to that.
So tonight, Yeah, so tonight we're gonna set a public hearing. I'm assuming that we're going on the same night, January 7th, is that what you're?
Yeah,
January 7th at 7:20.
And as far as the construction, would that go through the DPW for the construction pavement of the parking space? Or who would approve the whatever, how it's ever
Right,
constructed?
so I think we're probably gonna send the plans out to
That's
external review. I would think that would be the best thing for us to do.
for the public hearing.
Before the public hearing, we'll send them out.
That's even better.
This has to go to the council, right?
Yeah.
A Concom DPW building, the building commission has to get it done before it releases the.
Yeah. So, yeah, so we'll be, obviously needing to send this out to peer review, and I'm sure Mike's already talked about that. And we'll schedule your public hearing for January 7th at 7:20, pretending we're gonna do one. Oh, yeah, teams won't take that long.
well, you didn't indicate if you wanted, a peer review for his.
Right, we can talk about that after. Yeah.
I think.
Any other questions for now?
I ask the chair, where's the access off of 140 to get to the patient parking lot on the left?
So I can pull up that plan
Wait,
here for
the
you.
right?
Just bear with me one moment as I just grab this plan again. Sorry about that.
Here.
Okay, so currently, the site is having an existing access here off of Milford Street 140. And
Yeah.
then there is the employee parking existing access. No modifications other than just a Cape Cod berm along that edge there for the employee parking side. Everything else will be remaining the same. And then essentially our grading, it's a little bit steeper through this area just to make that transition work. But as far as anything on the patient side, since this would be shared amongst the patients as well, this is just going to be a very gradual transition in here, not anything too steep or anything along those lines.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we're probably all set for tonight, and we will, you can work with Mike to get ready for January 7th at 7:20.
Okay, great. I
I'll
greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much. I did have one question. Regarding the handicap parking spaces, I know typically if I'm doing like, say like a shopping plaza or anything like that, most cases I'm using like an ADA chart to determine what the requirement for the spaces would be. Is that similar to what you folks were referring to, or does the town have a specific calculation? that
Yeah,
we would need
no,
to
we
do?
use the ADA,
And the AAB, the.
520.
the accessibility board, the state accessibility board.
Yeah, John, 521 CMR 23. That's.
Perfect. And then my only other question would be just like procedurally here, in terms of a planning board peer review versus any kind of review that might be done on the conservation side, who would be handling stormwater typically in that case? Just curious for my own knowledge here.
We generally use the same stormwater report for both boards.
Okay.
So if you submit one, it'll be the same one to the conservation as it would be, or if you submit one to them, you can give it to us.
And the Conservation Commission is they have the stormwater bylaw as well that they're reviewing, and so we generally would condition things that, approval of.
Okay.
By,
Perfect.
Concom has to approve, so.
Okay.
That makes sense.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
It's the same board.
Yeah. Okay.
It's up to Concom if they want to have somebody else.
Right.
They have done that in the past.
Yeah,
I mean,
had a separate
Yeah.
review, external review, yeah.
Hopefully not parking spaces.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee anything.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's perfect. Well, thank you all so much. I do appreciate it. I hope everybody does have a happy Thanksgiving. Since I won't be back before Christmas, I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas as well. Happy New Year, and then we'll look forward to working with you guys on.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you all so much. Have a good night.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, so we should definitely send those plans out for peer review. Do we want to send Jean's plans out for peer review? We didn't. That one is here. For the, we often do send a large lot frontage reduction. We've done it before. We've sent them for peer review. This one is a little different in that it already had an approved subdivision on the site. So.
I mean, I guess through the chair, that is what you'd be looking for through peer review would be my understanding is the feasibility of a subdivision. to be
Right,
able to-
exactly.
But I don't mean to push
But,
the
yes.
board in either direction. I'm just saying that sounds like my understanding of what you'd be looking
It's
for.
not our money.
But no, I think what he's saying is we don't really need to because so normally we send them for peer review because we need to say, yes, there could have been a subdivision on this site. In this case, we know there could have been a subdivision on the site.
There
so-
already was.
Yeah. So we don't need a peer review to tell us that we could. So then it's really just,
It's moot. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
I am comfortable not to. Should we officially waive it or do we just? I didn't know we didn't
No.
for a lot.
We
I don't
only
think
do-
it's required.
It's not required. I think we say that they have to demonstrate that they
Yeah.
could,
Yeah.
the way the bylaw is written, they have to demonstrate that they could put a subdivision on
Yeah.
the site.
And-
And usually when it's a site we've never looked at.
Yeah.
We say, okay, well, you drew this thing on a piece of paper, but can it really be done? And then it goes for peer review that comes back and is like, well, yeah, it could be
Yeah.
done. or
That's what I'm used to seeing. It's like with the engineers. Yeah.
But in this case, that's already been
Yeah.
done. We already have that.
And the plans show separate drive.
Yep, and where the roads were proposed.
The lot sizes are huge.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the law was intended for. So once you've got the engineering down, which we already have, we for some reason set it up for engineering.
Right, exactly.
Why we send it up?
Okay, good. That's kind of what I felt, but I wanted to make sure everybody had agreed with that. I can follow. Bill, are you okay with that?
I am okay with that.
Okay. All right, so we can move on. We need to set a meeting time also for South Street. South Street got left off the agenda. It's really just for us to talk about signing the.
Well, it was up for a vote last time.
Yeah.
But there was only 3 members and I was uncomfortable with the way the waivers were asked, that we were waiving it as a planning board,
Right.
which means that the road width doesn't have any access or egress problems and there's no drainage or issues that way. This, and it's easy for all neighbors. So those were the reasons for the planning board. And I just wanted those, so the next time it happens, we can say these are the reasons that we waive it because it's
Right.
small lots.
Yeah.
I guess the question that I have is, given that I wasn't there and you weren't there, do we need to read the minutes or watch the recording
Yeah.
before we can vote? I haven't watched.
And quite honestly, that probably good that it slipped my mind to, or didn't slip my mind, but I think I accidentally just deleted it off when I added something else. But that slipped my mind is to ensuring that you've read the minutes and getting a Mullins certificate. for
Exactly.
Members that were not present.
I wasn't comfortable voting without you guys.
Yeah, no, and I understand, and, but then we need to, therefore, if we're gonna vote, we have to get our Mullen acts and letters, so.
What happens when I skip a meeting?
So everyone's gonna be here for December 10th though, right? Is that?
It's possible, you could abstain and the 3 of us could vote.
If you vote against it. I think that was the issue.
I wouldn't against it, they submitted anything, the things that I was concerned about was setting the planning board in the future, making sure that the waiver request we could use in the future and correspond to say, no, we didn't give it 20 lot, it was 3 lots. And I think we got that. I think they answered with all, so I think all my questions were answered, so I'm in favor of it. And if you're in favor and Bill's in favor, we could vote technically tonight.
And we can abstain.
And you can stand, you get it, and then
Have it Mullenized.
give Mike 2 weeks to get the thing right.
I mean, if, my suggestion would be to not vote tonight because it's not on your agenda, but if the board wanted to, you could vote by a motion to add it to your agenda. You make a vote, and then you inform the public of the vote that was made at your next
We could just, why don't we just put it on the agenda for the next meeting?
Yeah, I agree, but the counter argument is 2 weeks ago or a month ago, we said we're going to make the decision
Yeah.
tonight, and nobody
But you've already talked to them too.
Yeah, I did already talk to him, so,
Yeah. All right,
trying to.
no, I appreciate that. I think, yeah.
yeah. Okay, the use of CMRPC hours, for updating the zoning map. You want
Okay.
to say anything about that other than that we're
Now we need a new zoning map.
we changed the
We
zoning.
created two districts last year. So
When was the last one done, out of curiosity?
the very last town meeting, right? Was that when we did the solar district?
No, I mean, when was the last zoning map?
Oh, not that long ago.
Probably when we did the center business district.
Yes.
Well, because the solar one's gonna be moot anyway, because it just passed the, the new climate bill, which basically says they can put solar by right anywhere.
Yeah.
I
So,
thought it was like 3 years ago.
I mean, either way, it's still design.
But
I
it's,
get your point.
we passed it, so we have to be on the map.
Yeah.
We used to go 20 years.
So we have to update the maps. We also did the MBTA, so that has to be added, so I think that's just an announcement. I don't think do we have a vote on using those?
I would prefer both,
Okay,
just
do
to,
we have a motion to use CMRPC hours to update the zoning map?
So moved.
Second, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, Bill,
Hi,
Kathy,
Aye.
Tom, I, and Ken,
Aye.
and Margaret, I.
we're
Okay.
just trying to think if we had any other zoning changes that were pending. I can't think of any.
not for districts.
Yeah.
Okay, Cider Mill Road Plan, question on variance.
Oh, yeah, let me bring this up. Yeah.
341.
This is an interesting one. This is basically, I'm basically bringing this before the board tonight to get input to bring to the zoning board for when this goes to the zoning board. And Bill, I'll share my screen in just a moment.
Hope you're having a good vacation, Bill.
I am, thank you.
You're more dedicated than I am. I didn't call in from Ireland.
Yes, but I'm just in Indiana, so.
I need to talk to you when you get back, Bill.
Yep.
Just give me a call.
I will.
Scotland. Did you see in Scotland the past few days, what they think of Hurricane Bert?
Yeah, I heard that was coming.
Well, they had a named storm going through, really?
Yeah. Her daughter lives there. Her daughter goes to the, something, where's the
St. Andrews?
St. Andrews?
No, it's right. center?
So this plan, maybe it'll, try to shrink it a little bit more so you get the whole thing in there.
This two lots?
This is a plan that potentially, no, it's not, it's one lot right now, so
Okay.
ignore the lot lines, right?
Is
That's
there a
one.
house on it right now?
There is a house on it right now. This is the existing house right
Okay.
here. This is a plan that could possibly be conforming to zoning, although I did warn them about this pinch point being less than 80% of the frontage. But this is a plan that doesn't need a variance from area and doesn't need a variance from frontage.
So they're gonna put in a new driveway to their place and then cut off this weird stuff around in order to make two lots.
So this driveway is existing.
Okay,
That's a proposed septic. That's a proposed septic. This is possibly a proposed house.
so that's not two houses, okay. They're adding two houses.
Yeah, how many houses are they adding?
Just one.
Oh.
Yeah, they just want to make
Oh.
space for one home.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought the septic was a house.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was, I was looking at it going, how are they gonna,
I'm getting this backwards. This is the conforming plan.
okay,
This purple line down the center is potentially a conforming plan, but as we can see,
There's
all of the
wetland,
wetlands. Plus, it was expressed to me by the potential applicant that they don't really want a house right here, right across from this house.
Mhm.
They prefer to have a house sort of on the street over here, so these people aren't looking at each other, their front lawns aren't each other's front lawns. They prefer to not necessarily go with this, but maybe some sort of version of this. I said, I think you'd be better off going with a variance for the area and getting rid of this whole back, because this creates a.
They're gonna, for that, a lot has to stay, where the house is, 80%
Yeah,
of the
Yeah.
frontage. Well, that requires a variance.
yeah. And so I called that out to them too, as well as this, yeah.
So the original house is the one on that little,
In the middle.
Yeah,
you're looking to build one where again?
They were hoping their preferred location for a new house would be here so they can access off Cider Mill this way.
Makes sense?
And the access to the existing one is through that weird little useless.
Yes.
Predate zoning, one of those houses predate zoning.
there's only one house there now.
I'll have to see if anything predates zoning, but if it does, I don't think that qualifies anything for like a new lot,
Yeah,
right? So,
they're cutting out a new lot.
yeah, I mean,
That's what I was getting to.
and this was 2 lots at some point, and this lot line actually somewhat approximates what the lot line was for this lot over here. I think it was probably more like over here.
Mhm.
But again, were they to go back to that, they don't, it's an undesirable makeup to them. So the question would be, if you want an opinion, first of all, what would your opinion be as far as the setup of lots you think that they should strive for in front of the zoning board?
I
And
think they should try to meet the zoning requirements.
Yeah.
You know.
again, the issue with if they meet the zoning requirements, it just might create a different scenario and an undesirable scenario.
Mhm.
But this is something we don't have to chime in.
Correct. You do not have to.
I mean, what is the,
But the input I would like is agreement from this board that if it's your interpretation as it is mine, that if they brought a plan to the zoning board and got the necessary variances and then brought an A&R to this board, it's my opinion you'd be compelled to endorse it with those variances.
Well, absolutely not.
Okay.
The planning board has no, if the zoning board grants a waiver of frontage.
Yeah.
They come into here, not have to grant that waiver.
Okay.
We can grant it through subdivision control. The only legal
Yes,
way
okay.
is that you have to come in with a subdivision plan,
Right.
and we will approve your subdivision and plan and waive your frontage through that process.
Yes,
But we couldn't just
but not through an A&R.
not through an
Okay.
A1P.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yep. Total
That's
sense.
what was done in the past.
Yep. It would be the formal subdivision plan.
It's the only way a planning board
Yes.
can waive zoning.
Gotcha.
There's Gary when we need him.
Playing the trumpet.
probably not what to do is book tour.
That's it.
But the zoning board of appeals would have to weigh in first. On the waiver.
Oh, yeah, they'd have to act for that for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so you're all set with that?
Yeah.
Discuss adding future agenda items. Is there something in particular that?
I don't have anything in mind really.
So we're gonna adjust future agenda items in the future.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
I did want to mention one thing though, which is putting your minds about design guidelines. Do we want to start looking at design guidelines for the MBTA district? And I mentioned that the historical commission is looking at potentially implementing design guidelines within the historical district. They have to do a bunch of other things first. First, they need to get a district approved locally, which we don't actually have. It's just a state district. But they are looking into trying to make that happen as well. So is there any desire from the planning board to look at dimensional design guidelines for. I mean, I said MBTA, but it doesn't have to be just MBTA.
As much as I'd like to know these things, and to be gone on whole development.
There have been, remember that gas station then when they were at one point, 5 years ago, they were. And we were like, and they went away and came back with a better.
You can implement design guidelines, for sure you can.
Well, I know you can.
It should always be design guideline, just like this. This new fascia thing we're doing downtown, there's the way the things you can put on the front of the
Oh, the
building,
facade.
the facade, things like that. And how tall you can make buildings and how they have to fit into the character. So I think design,
So, I mean, some of the height of the buildings is already in the bylaws.
Yes.
Right.
It's really-
anything different though should be there. I mean, if there's any.
You don't want someone building a giant concrete building on. it's-
We don't have to design what kind of trees to go on.
No.
So I guess start talking about it, we can start.
I'll try to dig some stuff up and.
I have to say that seeing next town meeting on the bottom of the agenda, it's like. Yeah, wow, we just got through the last one.
I know, but it doesn't stop.
It's unusual.
It doesn't stop for me, so.
It's unusual that it works out that well, by the way.
I know.
Oh,
You all did a great job.
all three of them passing with remarks.
Surprise.
Well, I mean, my favorite was the audible groan when I got up for the third time. To the EDUs.
Not this guy again.
Exactly.
I think it was a great
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I think it was, congratulations. I think that's a great job.
Yeah, listen, when people start doing it, then we'll have people show up here.
Well, interesting, like, I wonder, I don't think we ever had that many people show up for a Governor's Landing review, and we've been, Dave, Glenn and I ended up we were the ones that had to go to court when the Concom denied it. And I was looking at him thinking, neither of us had gray hair when this started. I remember.
We had a bunch.
I had babies when this happened.
We had a bunch during the pandemic when it was on, because that's
That's
when
true.
they were talking about,
Yeah.
the water and sewer and that. So we had a whole bunch on.
I wonder if the fact that was discussed at town meeting was.
This seemed to be a delay. I remember the 60s, hit up and around 1975. And he might just be realizing now what happened 2 years ago. It's approved. Yeah.
I think, maybe people are starting to look at the
Yeah,
website and
exactly.
seeing, and they say, oh, Governor's Landing, and they have no clue that this was
Yeah.
already.
Well, none of them were here for what the meeting was for.
I know.
Everything was for the
Yeah, you
original.
feel bad,
No.
but it's like, yeah,
But, it went through its review process.
you did a great job, by
Very
the way.
few people choose to call me, my office, to ask about the letters that they received.
Mhm.
Yeah,
What?
when people, they got those letters and the letters had my number on it to call. If you have questions, call my office.
Okay,
And nobody ever calls me.
yeah. I kind of like how they want your cell phone. And you can laugh.
No, you cannot.
There's no hesitation.
No, but there was a laugh. There was.
Can I call you on a Sunday night?
And your sick child, and this is the guy whose daughter has been sick for 2.5 months,
Sitar
you
and Speaker Gaywich.
Good for her. Gaelic is not
She.
I started trying to learn Finn and then I was like, I'm not gonna learn Gaelic for the Irish side. I got it.
Very hard.
Sure.
Are we officially adjourned?
Yes, yeah. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Still moved.
All right,
Second.
all in favor?
All right.
Aye. All right.
Aye.